Good evening. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Oakwood Unit 76 Board of Education on this March 15th, 2020. I'll call the meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. Roll call.
Bradford. Here. Hicks.
Here.
Janeski. Lynn.
Here.
Ludwig. Plotner.
Here.
Smith.
Here. As a reminder, we are live streaming the meeting, so that will be also shared online. You stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty for all. Agenda item number 2, public participation. I think we do have a staff member like to address the board. Ms. Whittington?
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Whittington. I have worked at the Oakwood School District since 1996, first at Diamond and now at Oakwood Grade School. I've always prided myself on being a good worker. I do my job to the best of my abilities, try to be helpful, and do whatever task is handed to me, even if it's outside of my job description. I try to always arrive on time, not leave early unnecessarily, and when I schedule time off, if possible, I try to take it after work or on a day when we don't have school, so as not to put an extra burden on my coworkers or the district in trying to find a sub. I know it's hard these days. Last fall, I was asked to quarantine when there was a possible exposure to COVID, even when I had no symptoms or I was feeling fine. This accumulated to 13 days I had to use of my own sick time. Others were not asked to do so because they were vaccinated. There was even an occasion when a coworker was allowed to stay when they had a cough and runny nose, and we were told that they had allergy problems, so this was okay since they were vaccinated. It has been documented by the CDC that even if you were vaccinated, you still could contract and spread the virus. I feel that I and some of my coworkers have been unjustly discriminated against because of our personal health choices. I sincerely do not mind staying home when I'm sick, but I do not feel like I should have been made to stay home when I wasn't sick and never did get sick. Those 13 days are the equivalent to a year's worth of sick time for me. I have handed out an excerpt from the lawsuit Sangamon County had against the state concerning masking. It shows that these statutes are on the books in Illinois, and they cover not only masking, but also quarantining, vaccinations, and/or testing. So not only was it discrimination to keep me at home, but against the law. I'm just asking to not be discriminated against, and I'd like my 13 days added back to my account. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
First off, thank you, Ms. Whittington, for your time at the district. We do appreciate that. Anybody have any questions for Ms. Whittington?
I do not.
I do appreciate you coming and addressing the board, man.
Thank you.
Is there any other public participation?
I did sign up to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't grab that. Okay, yeah, feel free.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that it was made known, like I was made aware this morning.
Real quick, can you do me a favor? Can you just state your name?
Sure.
Yeah.
Summer Ferris
Thank
in Fine Arts at the grade school. And I knew that it would be discussed tonight about the possibility of hiring a music teacher at the grade school or with the junior high for next year. And I had no idea that this was even something that was being considered. And I just wanted to make sure that everyone understands that I love what I have done the last several years and that it's not anything coming from me. It's not even necessarily what I would like to see happen. I don't want to not be a part of these programs because they're a big deal to me. And if there was anything that I needed to do better, I wish that it would have been something I was aware of so that I could have made improvements if that was what was needed to make it work for the district. I thought that what I was doing was successful and all of my evaluations have been good, and so it just caught me off guard today. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone understands that I do love what I do.
We not have any.
Thank you for coming and address board. Any questions?
Yeah, you were just made of this awareness today.
Yes,
Okay.
in an email.
Okay. No.
So we'll discuss probably further. Agenda item number 3, consent agenda. I hope everybody had a chance to review the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion by Bradford, seconded by Plattner to approve the consent agenda items as submitted. Bradford,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 1.
Agenda item 4, FOIA request. Mr. Maynard, I do not believe we have any FOIA requests this time. No, sir. Thank you. Agenda item 5, Oakwood Education Association. Mr. Johnson.
I don't have anything. I'm trying to think of, we're getting ready for parent-teacher conferences. Everybody in the entire district starting tomorrow night and running through Thursday night. And other than that, I've got really nothing else to add.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Agenda item 6, committee reports, strategic planning. Mr. Maynard.
Sure, just wanted to update the board. We completed our process with Educational Leadership Solutions and with some recommendations to the board from the group of stakeholders. There were 3 goals in there that I placed in your packet. But what I wanted to mention tonight is that one of the goals that probably generated the most lively discussion was in regard to the high school and things that, what can we do moving forward for our high school? So with that being said, obviously a lot of what was talked about was things like land and possibilities and opportunities and, you know, trying to get a vision together for our high school. So I've talked with a few board members here that have shared some information with me, you know, in regards to that. And I would just like to make sure that it's okay with the school board that I go ahead and start communicating with some people about land that might be available, for example, in and around our current high school facility, and just start to try to begin generating some possibilities and options and information that I could bring to the board to share with you as information comes available. I just think it's good to start having some conversations since we started doing that through strategic planning and to see what possibilities might be for land and possible renovations of things and facilities for our current high school. So that's generally it. I don't have any specifics of anything. I just want to be able to have your blessing to move forward with exploring, having conversations, and keep you up to speed as I learn things. See what questions you may have.
I think it's a good thing.
Exploration's fine, yeah.
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 Kind of having foresight to plan ahead. So, yeah.
It'll be a long process and journey, I'm sure, but I'd like to get started having some conversations. Mr. Lee is helping me with this, obviously. He knows a lot of people. You know, I've gathered some information. I've got some maps and information from Mrs. Hicks as well that's been helpful. So I think if we're all working together, we can try to move a little bit. So that's all I have on committee reports.
Agenda item 7, administrative reports. Mr. Maynard.
Okay, so construction update, probably some details will come a little bit later more from Mr. Siddons. I just wanted to let you know that I have put forth the information, whether it be language and or photos, into the board packet in regards to the latest updates this past week from Amoresco and the building. And I've also put those on our district webpage up in a tab on the home tab, so you can click on that. And I'll try to keep, as I get information, I'll keep updating that so people can see different things that are going on with construction. So it's nice to have some nice weather to get some things moving and some dirt and so on and so forth. So as far as financial report, I think you saw the treasurer's report, cash flow sheet I've got printed off that I just updated here a little bit before the meeting with Dinah, just to double check some things. So I'll give you a copy of that before you leave. But It matches up with the treasurer's report. So the good news is money is flowing in and out very well. Our fund balances are very good. And so, this time of year, it's a good place to be. And hopefully no surprises, even with inflation and those types of things. I think we're in a good, healthy place fiscally right now. So that's good news. Probably the biggest concern just moving forward as I'm working on the budget for next year is that with the inflation, one of the things that happened to us, and I think probably people in this room can understand, is I've had some email back and forth with our Mayor McCarty. We have experienced without notice from the company that our water bill, we've got two buildings on well right now, the high school and the junior high, but our grade school building is on city water. And our bill went from like $100 to $1,200. And we didn't see that coming. And that happened because there's a company, I understand, that bought out a company that has taken over. And so we have communicated with them to try to make sure it wasn't an error, what's going on. And we just keep getting told this is what it is. So my assumption is that we've had a really generous rate for a long time. And when the new company came in, they, I would think, did an assessment and saw that, we should be paying more than we are. The only problem was we didn't really get any warning on that. So it's hitting us pretty hard right now in that department. But I understand that that's hitting a lot of people the same way. So, but I just want to make you aware of that, and obviously take that into consideration. We're building our budget for next year with our water bill. So
They base it solely on what other companies are charging, or did they blame it on infrastructure needs?
we didn't get any answers, Mr. Kneski. When we called, we didn't really get a lot of help. Well, we called the company themselves, and we just.
Who owns the infrastructure, the city or the water?
I'm not sure.
The water company, they sold,
We sold it off.
the city sold it to the company.
Okay. That probably answers everything. Yep, sure does.
The other thing I wanted to mention, is there any more questions on that? I'm sorry.
Real quickly, so right now you anecdotally said 12% increase or 12-time increase on the bill. That's going to also affect us as we move to junior high because that's currently on a well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Few other items here, just a reminder about the Golden Ruler Banquet. Just wanted to make mention about our recipients this year that will be recognized on April 26th at 6:30. We hosted at Bismarck Henning like it has been for many years. This is through the Regional Office of Education. And I would need to know if anyone is able to attend as a board member. If you'd please let me know so I can purchase a ticket for you for the dinner, as we'll be traveling that way. Dr. Barbara Fink, I think most of you know Mrs. Fink. She's been involved in the community in a lot of different capacities, the library and so on and so forth. And so we are recognizing her from the district as an OSEF recognition. So she'll be awarded that night. And I have to tell you this story because it's a good one. And that is sitting here with Mrs. Fink and sharing that information with her surprisingly. I would just say it extremely touched her heart. That's a good thing. So she is a wonderful person. So we're going to recognize her. We're going to recognize a couple of excellent teachers, Dawn Brown, a kindergarten teacher at the grade school, and Allison Davis, a high school science teacher. So it's be exciting that we'll get to go back and do that again this year for the Golden River Banquet. March 16th will be the district annual review of safety plans and protocols. So that's just coming up here tomorrow. We bring in our fire department, police department, administration, and we just review safety measures. We're required to do that at least annually. We'll be reviewing our all of our procedures in terms of ALICE and lockdown and so forth, but we'll also be talking about things that may impact, the new building facility. So there'll be a lot to talk about. Take notes on for that.
Are you still doing ALICE? Because I thought the state did away with that.
We are still doing ALICE. I've never heard that, Mrs. Bradford, at the state did away with ALICE.
Yeah, we were, I thought that was out a couple, back in the fall.
Yeah,
But Alice wasn't recommended to do anymore.
the whole county of Vermillion is doing Alice, and we do that through the Vermillion County Sheriff's Department. Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that you're still doing it, but I
Yeah.
thought the state said
Yeah.
back in the fall. Did you hear anything about it, that not to do Alice?
We still use Alice every time there's a shooting somewhere, something changes. I mean, it's just the way they look at it, it changes. I mean, if you were to look back at Jonesboro, you would tell them whatever you do, don't do Alice. I mean, so we still do it.
No, I like Alice, and I'm glad to hear that you're still doing it, but I thought the state said something back in the fall that Alice was no longer the drill schools had to use, so maybe I was wrong.
I think they based Alice on Sandy Hook.
yes,
Yeah.
So
exactly. All right. The other thing I wanted to mention was that there's been some interest from the school board of an e-learning plan. We had an e-learning plan on a day when we had to do an emergency day or something of that nature. When COVID hit, and we got the grace period, school districts in Illinois, where you didn't have to go through the formal process of board hearings and all of that. Basically, get it together and submit it to the ROE, and they were going to be approved, basically as soon as they saw them, just so we could get going. But it's different now. And so we did not renew back in the fall. We could have, we just chose not to, just had some conversations. People were interested in maybe stepping away from that. They've done so much of it. And then now I think we've kind of gotten through the school year and we're kind of reassessing that. So I think it's a good thing to have in our back pocket in the event that we would choose, be available to have to use it. So you'll notice in your packet that I have submitted the e-learning plan template that is pretty standard, that's being used in the county. Mr. Hurd at the ROE has looked at it and, he's pre-approved it to present it to the board. And there are some steps to go through as far as me notifying the parents, making sure that we set up that hearing and do the resolution, and then we have it. It's good for 3 years. And you don't have to use it, but it's there if you choose to, which is a nice thing to have in your hip pocket. So I'm also working with the Oakwood Education Association because one of the things that this impacts is not just our teachers, but all of our support staff. Obviously, there's a difference between the roles and responsibilities of people working in the kitchen on days when kids are not here and custodians and so forth. So we're working through some of those things as well and trying to figure out how we can manage that a little bit. So I appreciate the help. Mrs. Grimm has helped me with some ideas in a document that I think can really get us moving forward with that. So I would just ask that we would just keep moving forward with the e-learning plan and the steps that I laid out in your packet. If you're okay with that, any questions that you may have?
I've got a question. Do we have an idea of how many administrators, staff that are all for e-learning plans? Because I just hear out in the community, whenever we lost days,
Yeah.
you hear a lot. And so is it something that 75% of the people would like to have, or 80%? I mean, I just would like to know where it's kind of at as far as what the public thinks, or what everybody thinks, the parents.
Would you like to know what the parents think, as well as your staff, as
Yes.
well as your
Yeah.
certified and your non-certs? I think we need to go back and probably do a new survey, because the one we did before, we did a lot of surveys a couple of years ago. We probably would need to do a newer one.
I'm just saying, back in September, when you made the decision not to go forward with it, were there people that were against doing it? Why did we make, not guess, second guessing that decision, but were there complaints that said, let's don't go forward with it?
I had some informal conversations, with staff members, and then I watched when we had a situation where we had to do an emergency day for 3 days. We had to do that emergency temporary shutdown, and we did not perform well on those 3 days with remote learning as a school district. I would have thought that after the previous year that we would have performed better because of all the practice that we had. I think there were certain areas in our school district that did very well, certain age groups. There were certain age groups like our lower levels that we seemed to struggle. And that concerned me because I felt like that after kind of looking at those 3 days, Mr. Lynn, I just felt like we were going to have a better instructional learning moment if we were face to face with our teachers than to kind of bump around on a day like that. So that decision's on me. That was a decision that I really made for those reasons. I just felt like we would get more for our kids if they were in person.
Yeah, I just,
But
day like today, you're worried about adding days at the end of the calendar year.
absolutely.
And that's when you hear all the complaints, like,
Sure.
oh my gosh, we gotta go to June, doing something now.
And just
Sure.
because you have it, doesn't mean you have to use it either.
Yeah, exactly. So, that was probably, I think it's a good idea to adjust our sales right now and to move forward with having it.
Good.
And then that'll give us some time to, to reach out, if we want to, if you'd like us to, we can reach out to staff and parents and say, hey, I need to notify our families and staff anyway that we're going to pursue the documentation for it for next year. So we
Okay,
can get some feedback.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
In that plan, I can't remember, what was the roles of like the specials teacher and like library, like specials teachers, what's their role?
Let me take a look here.
'Cause I don't think I remember seeing anything.
I remember we had special education in there. Let's see here. I think, Mrs. Bradford, if I remember right, when we did this before and looking at this current template that's being used through the county, that it was basically the assumption that they would be, your specialists would be performing just like the other regular ed teachers, just the difference would be, as you well know, this day may be a music day, this day may be an art day, this day may be phys ed only, that kind of thing. So I don't know that it's specifically laid out in this template. I guess my understanding when I talked with Mr. Hurd was that keeping it general, allowing for flexibility to do what needs to be done in the different grade levels. So I apologize if that doesn't answer your question.
No, I was just curious, because
Yeah,
I know that, is it like 5 hours?
yes.
It's hard to fit everything in a full school day into the 5 hours, but I was just curious, because
Yeah.
in the past, like, we've never been online for like PE or,
Mhm.
music or art, so, I was just curious if there was a thought going into that too.
Yeah, I think we need to value those disciplines as well. But I also think there needs to be probably a little creative scheduling, at the different levels for that. I agree with you. Yeah, good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So moving forward on that, we'll have a hearing at the beginning of a board meeting to just.
Yes, let me look at I put in here, we have to have a verification form, so it looks like we would have to do publication April 1st. On the 18th, I would send some notification out to the parents, letting them know that we are pursuing, renewing our e-learning plan. And April 20th is our next board meeting. We can do the public hearing right before the board meeting. It would be a fairly simple one to do, and then it would basically then be approved, and then I would send it to the ROE. And then it'll be good for 3 years. We'd have to do a resolution that night, but I already have it typed up, so we're ready. It'll be good. And I think that's all I have.
Any additional questions for Mr. Mayor? Thank you, sir. Curriculum, Ms. Kimbrough.
We had map testing in January, beginning of February, everything kind of got messed up, but kind of looking at the data, we're still below normal a little bit, but trending up. We've had some big gains in different pockets, like second grade math took a huge upswing. Like, it was very noticeable. Teachers were very pleased with it. Seems like math is progressing a little at a quicker rate than reading. So that's something that we need to look at a little bit more, but all in all, good summer back up to norm, so pleased with that. We're getting ready for spring testing. We're gonna start that when we get back from break. And probably the last thing, the kitchens at the high school, the home ec room is like starting to take shape, looking good, and hopefully over break, when we come back from break, it'll be pretty close. Not done, but pretty close, so. We went ahead and got new tables, new chairs. The floor is just about done. Everything's painted but like a little corner, and cabinets are in, and it's just been upgrade in plumbing, upgrade in electricity, so anxious to see that, and hopefully at the next board meeting, we'll have pictures and you'll see the progress, so that's it.
Any additional questions from Ms. Kimbrough? Thank you. High school, Mr. Odle.
Well, we're getting ready for parent-teacher conferences tomorrow night, and that'll be the start. We're excited about that. The Academic Challenge team won their regional, so that's a good thing. They have competed in the sectional. They did that on March 8th, and the way that works is they actually do it online remotely. So we have to wait for the scores to come back to us, so those are not back yet. Mr. Fenton is doing a great job with them, and hopefully we can advance out of the sectional as well. SATs we're going to do on April 13th with the PSAT as well. Seniors will not be in school on that day, so that we can focus on testing for the juniors, and then the PSAT testing for the rest of the students. Vermilion County Music Festival, I forgot to put the time on there on March 17th. It's at 7 p.m. at Westville. So if you get a chance to go out and listen, they're going to be in the music all day, and then they perform that night. So all the schools get together. So that's a big thing. And if we can get out there to see our band students and our choir students, that's a great thing. Other than that, that's pretty much all. Freshman orientation, I just wanted to say real quick, freshman orientation will be at 6 p.m. on the 30th. Letters have went out to parents, so we'll have that, and we're going to get back to normal where the teachers are going to be there. We're going to introduce all the teachers. We're going to have it all at one time in the gym. They'll take a tour of the building. Student council will be have ambassadors basically with each tour group to take them around. Teachers will be in their rooms. And explain, what they're doing there. They have a little bit of time, and we end up in the cafeteria with all the activities and booster clubs, so the parents can sign up and get ready for next school year already. So we're already finishing one and getting ready for the next one. So that's where we're at. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Odle. Assistant Principal, AD, Mr. Shelton.
When I gave you guys the report for boys basketball at the time, I had informed you that Brody Tafflinger had advanced to the state tournament in a three-point shootout. But I'm pleased to announce that he did really well last Saturday morning, advanced to the Final Four in the Class 2A by hitting 10 threes out of 15. Then he went to the next round and hit 9 and ended up getting third in the Class 2A in the whole state of Illinois. Pretty awesome. We're really proud of him for his accomplishment. And the kid that actually beat him in 2A ended up being the king of the hill with all classes in the state of Illinois. So, man, great showing from Brody Tafflinger. So, and then also, speaking of great things, Joe Lashway finished second place in the state, the 160-pound weight class. That's back-to-back years that he's been in the state championship match. And extremely proud of him. Had a chance to honor him last Friday during our pep rally. And so a lot of great things are happening at OHS when it comes to that. Speaking of that, I want to give Scholastic Bowl a bit of a moment to spotlight here too, and say that they won the county championship going 6-0 and beat everyone in the county. So that was fantastic. And then also on that team, Ashton Morris was all county team. But not only was he that, he was also all conference team and also all conference tournament team. So he had a great year. So the Scholastic Bowl team did awesome this year. And then as far as spring sports go, as we transition from winter to sports, the track, baseball and softball already begun their seasons. Track has already participated at EIU for an indoor meet. And then our baseball team opened up last night at Westville, their brand new field. And then softball opened up last night as well against Marshall at home. And baseball is playing right now, actually. And they're up 2-1 against Danville right now. So, yeah. 5-1? Well, yeah, in the last couple minutes, it went up. Very good. Yeah, but as far as updates go, we also conducted spring pictures here for all the spring athletes last Thursday. Weight room, we've had the football kids coming in every morning, trying to get used to the morning practices, and we've had great numbers, anywhere between 25 and 30 kids showing up, and the numbers have only been going up consistently. So awesome to see that early on. So really good to see that. Then also on last Friday, we did a senior versus staff basketball game. That was my first experience doing that. I'll tell you what, the kids had a blast. The staff, I was really impressed to see that many people there. It actually almost, I had a great turnout for that game. I was excited to see that. Mr. Odell and I had the opportunity to referee the game too. We did get called names. We won't mention any of those here. But anyway, then like I said, we did the winter sports pep rally. That was the first time we've done an indoor pep assembly in almost 2 years. So that's what I've been told, because I've been here, and I think that some of the kids have never experienced that before. So it's good to start that as we continue to keep doing that over and over again. So we plan on doing another pep rally to recognize our spring athletes maybe next month. So that's our plan at the moment. So jump in.
Yeah, I've got one comment about the basketball. I did have to tee up one staff member, and he just happens to be in the room.
I knew
It was great. It was all in fun. I warned him that I was going to do it beforehand, and then he forgot about it. So when I teed him up, his face was lit up. But anyway, sorry about that. I just had to throw that out there.
It actually was such a success that a lot of kids have come to us and said, "Can we do this in the spring and do like a staff for the softball?" And I'm like, "Yeah, if it was going to go that great, let's do that too." So anyway, just to let you know that might be in the works as well. That's all I have. You don't have any questions for me?
We voted to raise the officials' pay. Did you guys
benefit from that?
see any of that? Or is it all-
I had kids throwing popcorn at me as I went by. That's all I got.
Well, from the pictures, you guys look good out there.
Thank you, Ms. Shelton. Junior high, Ms. Burton.
Good evening. We have finished third quarter and off to a good start for fourth quarter. Our enrichments for fourth quarter, eighth graders will be doing career exploration, and seventh graders financial literacy. Our spelling team finished second last week. Mrs. McGee is our coach there, hopes to beat us by a few points, and we will take it back. The spelling bee, we're always pretty close. Scholastic Bowl started. They are 5-1 right now, doing a great job. They are 5 strong, and I'm really proud of that group. We had a fine arts concert last Friday, thanks to Mrs. Grove. We had band and chorus and a lot of solos and duets, and we just have a lot of talent in our district. It's nice to have talent on the field and in our fine arts program. Track started tonight there at Hoopston. Our 7th graders completed the Too Good for Drugs curriculum through the Rosecrans. We are also doing parent-teacher conferences, getting ready for AR testing and return, and just looking forward to finishing the year very strong. Thank you.
Any questions for Ms. Burton?
Thank you, Mrs. Burton.
Grade school, Mrs. Pettis.
First, I'd like to congratulate Ms. Brown on being selected as Golden Ruler recipient this year. She has been at the grade school for 22 years. Most of those years have been in kindergarten. Kindergarten is no easy feat, and she is amazing and probably the most kind, patient, and loving person that you could ever know. So we are thankful for Ms. Brown. And then I also noted in the report, we have a group of 6th graders that have become pre-K buddies to help get them to the bus, which has really cut down on some chaos with the amount of bus riders that we have with preschool. So that has been very beneficial to Mrs. Rogers, and I know she appreciates those 6th graders helping out. I'd also like to address the music comment that came up tonight. So where this all came from is we met with Mr. Maynard, myself, Mrs. Burton, and Mrs. Acton. We've been working to plan for this consolidation. And one of the ideas that came up was having another section of specials like we used to many, many years back before we had the huge amount of cuts that came from the grade school. So we used to have an art and a music teacher. Summer is certified in art. She's not certified in music. So that's where this is coming from. It also comes from Carson Grove had shared some concerns with Mr. Maynard about students not having basic music because they don't have a regular music schedule. Summer's doing a mixture of art and music and an excellent job at it. Never at any time was it ever mentioned that there was anything wrong. She's fantastic. We couldn't ask for anybody better with a mixture of that position. But looking at that, and Mr. Maynard had a good point. If we have music at junior high and high school, why don't we have it at grade school? And I explained to him, we had a ton of cuts at the grade school. And when I say a ton, it was a ton. And that was, I think, when I was assistant principal at that point. So it was a long time ago, but we took a lot of staff away from the grade school. So looking at how we can streamline music from grade school so that when they get to junior high and high school, Carson's not going back and teaching the basics of how to read music and understanding notes, rhythm, things of that nature. So that came from Mrs. Grove with concerns. And then we know that we're gonna have to most likely split that gym in half next year. Half for the grade school, half for the junior high. If we have a third section of specials being a dedicated music class, then one class goes to music, one class goes to art, one goes to PE. Then Mr. Glosser and Mrs. Colley don't have 50 kids potentially in half of the gym for that PE class. So this was all just up for discussion, and I'll explain to you the reason why it was an email. This discussion just came up Friday. It was just for discussion to bring up to the board to see what you guys would think about it. I covered for a secretary all day today. There was no time to meet with Summer. She was practicing for musical all day Friday. Yesterday was extremely busy. Summer, I absolutely don't ever want you to think that you did anything wrong because you are absolutely phenomenal in that position. And this is just simply at looking at scheduling and streamlining the educational process for basic music throughout the whole district. Nothing against you at all. And so if by email you thought that there was something, I tried to explain that very clearly, those two reasonings why in there. I would have loved to have met with you, but I was covering for Lacey today. So it's just an idea to throw out there to try to streamline, like I said, and help with scheduling as we move into the consolidation process.
I do have a question, and I don't know, back in July, August, when we voted on spending the ESSER money to bring the junior high to the grade school, the one thing we did mention is that there would be $6.7 million in 20 years. And in the list of where this money was going to come from, it was going to come from the efficiencies of bringing the two together and sharing music or whatever. I can't, if you go back to the August, go back to your template and it'll explain that. I know this may not be the point for, or the time for it, but does this tell me that now when we go back and say this consolidation, rather than bringing a 6.7 million, you're now adding another person that we didn't have before? I'm looking for synergies. I'm not looking for additions, but
I think you have to look at the amount of people that have retired. We have people in our building that have taught in the district 40 plus years that are retiring. So I think there's a huge difference in that aspect as for money. And then I think it comes from what importance you want to place upon the music program and, art program. If Summer were just doing art, she could really focus on some really cool art projects and teaching the standards more with art. So, I think it just, you have to look at what's best for the kids.
Okay, with all the teachers retiring, I don't understand how that affects
because on a pay salary scale, those teachers are very high up on that scale, whereas bringing new people in, you know, at 1 to 10 years is a lot less than those that have had 40 years in.
Okay, makes sense.
We've been able to make some considerable savings, moving along these last couple of years with some retirements. You've got people that are retiring that are at the top of the scale, so to speak, and you can bring in more of an entry-level person or with fewer years of experience and still, take care of the academic needs of our kids, but yet not hurt you financially.
So I'm not saying this is like something that has to happen. It was an idea I was asked to bring up tonight to you guys.
Yeah.
We can get by without it for sure.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is we need to show Mrs. Grove that we value the music program because she's working really hard to try to increase the amount of kids involved, but they're not necessarily, we're not teaching basic music skills at this point, like we were when we had a dedicated music teacher. So I think that, to me, that's my biggest concern, just thinking in terms of those kids that are musically inclined, that's their go-to, that's what they really love.
Yeah, and
Spark that interest.
well, I can just, in talking about your music program today and is that how much better it is. I mean, if you were on the other end of listening to all this, what your music programs and everything were like several years ago versus what they're like now and what the kids are getting out of it. So obviously there's been some very good things at the music program at the grade school in the past few years that people have really been behind. So
Do you have the space to add?
Yes, she has both the music and an art room.
Oh, okay.
I think one of the things, if it's okay, just to kind of come alongside here, I think that, several months ago, getting a proposal and for Mrs. Grove at the high school and looking at things K through 12, she had a lot of ideas. And I said, it would help me, this conversation is good, it would help me to be able to get your ideas as a proposal in writing so I could study it more. And then I also want to be able to share it with Mrs. Burton and Ms. Lepenis, Ms. Acton, so they can see it and have some time to look through this, ask questions and that type of thing. And so we did that and have been looking through that. And then obviously we've got this gym scheduling thing that's coming up, and it forces us to look deeper into the learning standards. Music has learning standards, art has learning standards, phys ed has learning standards, just like a math class does for Illinois. And so we're looking at all those things. So it's March. It's that time of year when you're looking at, well, if we do need someone, do we need to start putting it out there? And my feeling is that it's good to have information for the board to think about. It's good to have discussion. And then after that, you're looking at taking some action. But, like I said, it is March. We want to at least get it on the table so that you as a board could hear this, ask the good questions, and find out what we need to do, moving forward to help gather more of what you need and that type of thing.
I don't know if this helps in any way, but I can tell you that our music teacher in this, I'm gonna get the year wrong, but it would have been Mr. Braybeck, went to the 5th and 6th grade while he was at OHS. I do know that. Now, schedule wise, couldn't tell you if that just stopped because he left that position to go on. I have no idea, but I do know him and his 2 predecessors before him would have pulled all 3 buildings at once.
Was that band or was
It's
that
band.
chorus?
It's just band.
well, every conversation we've had from the time we've moved the junior high to the grade school with this thing has all come back. Every disagreement has come back with gym spacing. I mean, and we said, no, this will work. Well, it's obviously, it's got a lot of holes still. We still don't have the space to take care of things. It's just, I mean, I think we're gonna, my fear is we're gonna continue to keep running into, just like the board meeting the other night when we were $300,000. That money was spent. Well, my concern is so too will these savings be gone. Not that we wouldn't have spent the extra money to move that, but would we spend it differently? And the further we get down the road, we keep finding some gaps and holes that I think we overlooked. So.
Well, I think that, my thinking is that, I know it can work. We know it can work because we have it working. It's a difference between whether or not something's going to be good or great. And my thinking is always trying to be excellent in what we're doing. And I know that that's shared here at the table. And I do listen, when people bring things like this to me because they're in the trenches and they know more and they know where the kids are at. And we have those discussions. And if they can share something with me that's an idea that can take us to another level, in what we're doing and maybe even solve some other problems. And sometimes that costs money. And I get that. And I'm pretty conservative, but I don't want to be too conservative when it comes to learning. And so I do think it's important that we have the discussion, and I will definitely follow the direction of the board. But it's important to at least get it on the table as a topic, so that you can share with me, where you're at with things, and that can help guide us, moving along. And we can come back and talk some more about it next month.
If we did consider, let's say we did get this extra position with music teacher, would that mean that Mr. Glasser would no longer need an aide?
You would still have to have an aide because there's boys and girls in that class. So if this child has to go to the like our little ones, they have to go if they need help in the bathroom. Michelle typically. So I know they don't change, so they don't have to supervise a locker room. But that's. I don't know. I guess we wouldn't have to, but.
So I thought the aide was hired because we had to combine classes. And it was big. So if we don't have to combine classes, it's just one class per PE. My thinking would be we wouldn't need the aide, so that's an extra cut in class. Just a thought.
So those kids aren't changing for physical education, so that helps us there a lot.
So I'll say real quickly that I was there when the cuts were made, and I was here when the cuts were made, I should say. And I did hear a lot of concern from the community. It's because there was some, you don't value the art, you don't value the course, the band. And at that point in time, it was a very difficult decision we had to make. But if we have the opportunity, I'd like to at least see this pursued. And we're not saying today, I'm not saying today that we go through with it, but I think it's important we don't limit ourselves. And we see we look at those things that you mentioned, Ms. Bradford, that, or can we save somewhere else? While I'm also cognizant of, also concerned about the budget, but I think that the more opportunities we can have for our kids are important. So personally, I think it's worth looking at. We don't have to, we're not acting on it today anyway, we're just having a discussion. And I think it's important. And we may find out that, this is a great idea. We may find out we have limiting factors, but I think it's important to at least hear more. So. Any other comments, Ms. LePennis? Any questions for Ms. LePennis?
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Acton is not here tonight. Technology, Mr. Richardson.
I've been working with Mr. Simmons on just setting up for the low voltage installation in the new building. So just all the Ethernet cables that need to be run. Luckily, all the equipment from the junior high is modular, so we'll just be able to unplug it, plug it back into the new building, and we'll be good to go. Phones, Wi-Fi, all of that. The other thing was We did get approved for the 1 gig fiber connection for OGS. That's through the Illinois Department of Information Technology E-rate Consortium. So that will be put in this summer, so that building will be raring to go. So we'll have a 1 gig connection at the high school and a 1 gig connection at the grade school. That's all I had.
Any additional questions for Mr. Richardson? Thank you. Transportation, Mr. Lund.
We're getting ready to kind of start our spring sports here. This is our really busy schedule here for transportation. We've got about 4 to 5 buses that head out every night. So that's kind of about where we're sitting right now. It's good. Got all of our maintenance taken care of, ready to go for the buses. We do have one bus 12 that has to go into Kankakee to have some repairs done. One of the heaters went out and it fried some of the wiring. So that bus is parked currently. And that is our lift bus. So we are to one lift bus, which means if something happens on that bus, we will have extra costs for be able to have it fixed that day. So we have to have that one. But it's running perfectly fine. It's not used very often.
Temperatures are mild right now.
Yeah.
Thank God.
How many years were on those leases?
They were 2 years, and then with COVID, we extended it to 4.
Okay.
Yeah, the issue with bus 12 is all warranty, so that doesn't,
Okay.
yeah, that's not an issue with us at all.
So we have an additional, we're halfway through then?
Yeah,
Of the lease?
yeah, next
Okay.
year will be our last year.
Any questions for Ms. Lund?
Yeah, do you have a maximum number of miles per bus?
We jumped it up to 18,000 a year.
They bumped it with the COVID,
I tried for 20.
They wouldn't buy.
but we bumped it with the COVID extension, right? That's when we did it?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Lund. Head of maintenance, Mr. Siddons.
Mr. Mayor wanted me to talk a little bit about the construction. They started pouring footers this week. They're about 3/4 done. Putting some new walls up too for the building. I'm waiting to hear who got the electrical and the plumbing contracts. Haven't quite got that. Who's going to do that yet? They're telling me that April 4th, we should start seeing walls going up. They'll be pre-conditioned to bring a crane in and set them. And they're hoping within a week, they'll have it all under cover. I'm just waiting to see it all happen. So each week we have a meeting on Thursdays. This Thursday we'll have one, and I should get the final on a lot of different things on what's happening with it. Who's gonna have the contracts, where we're headed, what times. When I get that from Mr. Maynard, we'll get that more down, but that all depends on the weather too. If you get complaints on the traffic going in and out of the grade school, just bear with us because Shar and I are trying to stay on top of it, because when they start pouring concrete for the floor and putting the walls up, we're probably gonna have to reroute some things. So the city's gonna work with us on putting some road closure signs up. It's not really to close off the school, but it's to close and slow down some of the traffic that does not need to be back there. We got to get back to the drop-off points of the junior high and high school going to Obies, probably after spring break. That'll start up again. And we're going to put signs around the school for no drop-offs. And if we have the parents, if the signs and everything are up, Ron says that he can do more than if we don't have anything up. So the number one thing we gotta do is get the kids off the north side of the building from walking, because they're walking right through the construction zone. And we're gonna have to really get on parents of dropping off on the north side, because there's little girls, boys, they're just walking, they don't pay attention, they're on their cell phones. And all it's gonna take is one dump truck or one concrete truck to hit one of them, and we're gonna do. So we're really gonna have to get the word out that the drop-off points are gonna have to be at Obies for the junior high and high school. I know parents are gonna be mad, but we gotta look after the safety of these kids. Some of the things I'm discussing with them too, we got some little things that come up that there's some safety issues down the road we're gonna have to look at as far as where the kids are gonna go in and out, so we're gonna have to start working through some of that. But as far as the construction, they're still telling me July 1st or pretty close to July 1st. We should be seeing maybe the inside of the building. So that's pretty much it. We're getting a couple options on the little gym Mr. Maynard talked about with that maintenance grant. They're gonna give us a couple options on that. When we get that, Mr. Mann and I will sit down and talk about it and see where that goes, and we'll have to let you know on that one too. Otherwise, I'm trying to keep Mr. Maynard up to date on things, and we'll keep moving forward.
I have a question. So, is there a plan to like redo the parking lot? I can't remember, because right now it's like massive potholes from the construction, so I can't remember if that was in the plan, like after everything's over with.
The parking lot, I've talked to Mr. Maynard and I've brought to his attention that there are potholes up here and there. It is not in our plan. The only part that's in on our plan is where they tore down through, just replacing that. The one thing that I have talked to him about is, do we go back with concrete or do we go back with asphalt down through there because of the cost? Fuel has gone sky high, so.
And that's not in the cost of.
The cost of replacing where they went down through is in,
Yeah.
not the parking lot.
So like as you drive through to get to the parking lot, they're responsible for that, because that's where a lot of it's
Yes.
tore up. Okay,
Yes.
that's good to know.
The north.
Yeah,
The north drive, yes.
Yes.
that's good to know.
But the parking lot, there's some potholes coming through from trucks in and out and different things, so that is not. And Mr. Mann and I have kind of touched bases, but we haven't really had a chance to sit down and talk about it.
Thank you.
Any additional questions for Mr. Siddons? Thank you, sir. Agenda item number 8, old business. I don't believe we have any other old business. Agenda item number 9, we do have a reason to go into closed session for the reason listed on the agenda. Do I have a motion to go into closed session at 6:27 PM?
Second.
They will be.
We're in. Need a motion to reopen open session at 7:25 PM.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Motion by Janeski, seconded by Hicks to re-enter open session at 7:25 PM. Janeski,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bradford,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 3.
Agenda item 10, consideration.
He's
and action.
remote. He's studying tonight remotely.
For the Oakwood High School, we have a recommendation to employ Ryan Wells as the high school head track and field coach position effective immediately. He'll be on step 3 of the collective bargaining agreement extracurricular schedule.
Coach Wells is currently, was currently serving as the assistant track coach. He's also employed as our assistant cross-country coach as well. And I know that he's excited for the position and ready to move up. Any questions?
Do I have a motion to approve the recommendation as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Motion by Bradford, seconded by Plattner to approve employment of Ryan Wells as presented. Lynn,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bradford,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski. Motion carried by roll call vote 4.
Agenda item 10B, we have a high school recommendation to approve the transition for Jeff Mandrell as a high school track and field assistant coach position effective immediately. He'll be on step 2 of the collective bargaining agreement extracurricular schedule. Mr. Shelton.
Yep. Coach Mandrell is, like I said, is transitioning from the head boys track coach to the assistant. And he welcomed that working with our kids currently right now with our shot and disc kids. So, yep, he'll be in that role moving forward. You have any questions?
Do I have a motion to approve the recommendation as presented?
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Motion by Bradford, seconded by Hicks to approve the transition of Jeff Mandrell as presented. Plattner,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bradford,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski, Lynn.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 5.
Agenda item 10C of a high school recommendation to approve Jessica Bradford as a volunteer assistant softball coach effective immediately.
Ms. Bradford has a daughter on the team. I know I've talked to Coach Smith, and she's excited for both Coach Bradford and Coach Donovan to help out with the team. So, yep. Any questions? Ms. Bradford.
Do I have a motion to approve the recommendation as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Motion by Plattner, seconded by Hicks to approve the volunteer Jessica Bradford as presented. Smith,
Yes.
Bradford,
Abstain.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski, Lynn,
Yes.
Plattner.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 6.
Agenda item 10D, we have a high school recommendation to approve Jason Donovan as a volunteer assistant softball coach effective immediately.
Same thing tied to action item C. Any questions on Mr. Donovan?
Do I have a motion to approve the recommendation as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Motion by Hicks, seconded by Plattner to approve volunteer Jason Donovan as presented. Bradford,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski, Lynn,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 7.
Agenda item 10D, we have a grade school recommendation to employ Olivia Turner for the vacant position of the 3rd grade teacher for the 2022-23 year school year. She has a bachelor's degree and will be on step 1 of the collective bargaining agreement.
So if this tells you how long I've been at Oakwood, I taught her as a second grade. She was in my second grade class. I was her teacher. I knew she was gonna be a teacher. But we are super excited to have her back in the community and she will be a wonderful addition to our staff.
Do I have a motion to approve the recommendation as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Motion by Bradford, seconded by Plattner to approve employment of Olivia Turner as presented. Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski, Lynn,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bradford.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 8.
We have a grade school recommendation to employ Sandy Hufford for the vacant position of first grade teacher for the 2022-23 school year. She'll begin on step 7 of the master's degree schedule.
So Sandy will be coming to us from Georgetown, highly recommended. Great personality, great with kids, and so we're excited to have her round out our first grade team.
Motion to approve the recommendation as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion by Hicks, seconded by Bradford to approve the employment of Sandy Hubbard as presented. Lynn,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bradford,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski. Motion carried by roll call vote 9.
Agenda item 11, new business discussion. Mr. Maynard, I think you have a few mentions.
Yes, sir. So I wanted to start out with some correspondence here. We did receive a card from the family of Margaret Wanderland, Joni Pilkington's mother, just thanking us for the thoughts and prayers and the gift that we sent on behalf of Miss Pilkington's mother. Also wanted to mention that we also received correspondence from Tolono Unity High School and School District. High school and myself, we partner together when we have situations that come up as tragedies to other schools that we consider our neighbors, of course. We usually will send some flowers, on behalf of those situations when tragedies take place. So they reached out to us to say thank you so much for being such a nice school district and keeping them in their thoughts and prayers during this time in their community. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Tolono Unity and the community there. Also wanted to mention a thank you to the Oakwood Community Education Foundation for their support for the school district. Very successful fundraising efforts, and at their recent celebration at the Dragonfly. It was just another excellent night. Great people, great time together, supporting kids and education and teachers and support staff. So just really appreciate the work that they're doing. And the only other thing, just I forgot to mention, in your packet, you saw the summer schedule of hours. Every year, what I try to do is present that to you in March, that we would bring it up for approval in April. This has been shared with the associations. There are no changes on this from last year. The only thing that is different on here is that we hired 2 new secretaries, and they have the option to work 10-month versus 11, and they chose 10, so that's the only difference. But other than that, everything is the same right now. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Maynard. Any other new business? Do I have a motion to adjourn at 7:33 p.m.? Our next regular board meeting will be Wednesday, April 20th, 2022 at 5:30 p.m.
Mr. Janeski, do we need to go back into close?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to re-enter closed session at 7:33 p.m.?
So moved.
Roll call?
Motion by Plattner, seconded by Bradford to enter closed session at 7:33 p.m. Plattner,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bradford,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski,
Yes.
Lynn.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 10.
Hey Larry, can you?
Yes, sir. Thank you for that reminder.
Oh, good.
Need a motion to re-enter open session at 7:48 PM?
Second.
Roll call?
Motion by Janeski, seconded by Plattner to re-enter open session at 7:48 PM. Plattner,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bradford,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski.
Yep.
Lynn.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 11.
Our next regular meeting will be Wednesday, April 20th, 2022 at 5:30 PM. I need a motion to adjourn at 7:49 PM.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Motion by Lynn, seconded by Hicks to adjourn at 7:49 PM. Bradford,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 12.